Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Skaglabones back with another video for you today. And as you can see, just came back from the post office. Small package, but nevertheless a package. Something I've been talking about last few videos. Wanted to show you guys. And today we're going to combine this into kind of an unboxing since it's very small and a how-to video because we're going to do an install. So not so much a how-to video, but doing an install real quick for you guys. So we're going to combine it into two separate sections. And two different parts, I should say here. So the first part shouldn't take too long here. Should be pretty quick for you today. So let's see. Let's start off. So small little package here, and a slightly bigger one, but not too much. So we're gonna start. Let me see if I can set the camera here. And there we go. So we're just ripping her open. I ain't too worried about how neat this is. So what we have here is from Derailleur. We have two jockey wheels. See there? And there. 11-2 SRAM. So these work on SRAM, both a SRAM and what do you call it? Shimano. Okay, so there we go. They're red in color. I'll give you guys a link in the description below. And these have bearings in them. So these are bearinged jockey wheels. Let's open one up here, give you guys an idea what they're like. These are about 7. Yep, they got a nice bearing in there. So peel that off. Yep. Yep, just a pressed in bearing. Nothing super fancy dancy, but there you go. And we'll be sticking these on the bike today. Come on. Taking the sticker off. Oops. Pop the side case off. So you can see, take this to show you what they look like on the inside. So that's what they look like on the inside. There's your bearing. So if you ever had to replace the bearing, pop out this center piece and replace the bearing. Just snap that back on. Okay, so there you go. Those are the two pulleys, or jockey wheels. And here we go, last package. And we have our titanium jockey wheel bolts. So that's the titanium jockey wheel bolts. And so I'm going to stop here. We're going to get set up, and we're going to get these installed. Okay, so as you can see, we got our bike up on our stand. I got it lowered. I got it in the bedroom. I don't have a ton of room, so I'm going to start by taking our rear wheel off. So once again, we want to get this into the lower gear set. There we go. Now, one quick thing, let you guys know, I didn't really mention it in the last video, but I noticed something, because normally when I put my wheels on, I don't put them on in the stand. So I almost always have put them on the ground, so I never paid attention to it. When I was riding this morning, I noticed my wheel was making funny noises, it was rubbing funny, and I noticed this was not in the dropout properly, 100%. So Remember, when you put your wheel on the stand, it's fine, put it on a stand. But when you set the bike down on the ground, loosen up the quick release skewer, and then it will reposition itself the proper way. You can center it a little easier, and then you won't have any weird rubbing on your brakes. Because what can happen is if the brakes are hitting the tire, they can cause some issues. So pull out the quick release, or sorry, not the whole quick release, just pull out the rear wheel. And the reason we're pulling out the rear wheel is just to make it easier for doing this. Okay. Well, we're going to grab our dummy hub. Sorry about this, folks. I have to see my back there a couple times. Pop in our dummy hub. Okay. A little too tight. Loosen up the dummy hub a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we got our dummy hub on, as you can see there. And let us start. One thing I think I'm going to do is we're going to take off our chain, because chain needs a good cleaning. And today I'm going to clean it off. So, sorry about this. Once again, I gotta get in front of I am limited here, folks, by room. Don't have a ton of room to do all this. Trying to do this without getting myself all greasy and messy. Let's see. So, there we go. Always forget, you can't have the dummy hub on this one in the lowest cog. So. We're going to go up to there, we're going to find our master link. If you folks remember what the master link looked like. Let's see where we're at. Where's our master link? Okay, there's our master link right there. We're going to take this little master link removal tool. Okay. Remove the tension, and we're going to take the master link out because we don't want to lose said master link because it's pretty dirty. Today we're probably going to spray this down with WD-40 and re-grease the chain. So, something we'll do outside, we won't do it inside the apartment. Pull this out. Get the chain on our cloth. Okay, so now we have full reign of our rear mechanism here. Okay. So, first, let's see here. Got our screws. Make sure we got our screws in the right spot. Make sure we get our other tools out of the way we don't need. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get out the wrench that we need. It should be a 4mm. I'm going to double check it here because it's been a while since I took the rear mech apart. No, it's not. It is probably 3mm. It is a 3mm. Okay, so 4mm. And we're going to start by taking off the bottom jockey wheel. We're going to take off both jockey wheels at the same time. Simply because we have to replace the bolts. So we might as well replace the cage. So there's what our one jockey wheel bolt looks like. Right there. Question is the new one going to fit? So what we'll do is we're going to test these new ones out before we go installing them. They should be the same, hopefully. We will test them out though first. We pull out the first jockey wheel. There it is. So as you can see, that's the replacement jockey wheel for this guy. And these have no bearings. They're pretty disgusting. We got a lot of dirt, a lot of wear and tear on them. Okay. Now when we pull the bolts for the jockey wheel, the rear cage, the rear mech is going to come undone. There we go. Start to come off. Oops. There's our rear jockey wheel. Big question that comes into a lot of people ask is, do we save the old jockey wheels? Sorry, I gotta grab a rag here. And my answer is always yes. Save your old jockey wheels. Save everything that you have, just in case something fails on the new stuff. We have a backup. Obviously, we've been riding with the old. Now, if the old stuff is broken, by the way, this is the outer cage. So we're cleaning that up. So obviously, the old stuff worked really well. So here's the new bolts. I just want to test the threads. And yes, the threads do work. Depth-wise, we'll check and make sure they're 100%. But they look like they're going to work. Bolt goes through the new jockey wheel. It does fit size-wise. So it looks like everything's standard. It's going to work. And jockey wheel pulleys, it doesn't matter where they go. Some rear mechs will have one jockey wheel pulley that has a bearing on it and the other one won't. Upper pulley is the most important for having a bearing. Whereas the lower one is less important from having a bearing. So we're wiping our inside cage off, and then we are going to take the first jockey wheel and kind of set it here. Let's see here if we can get a better view. There we go. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, I put the bolt through this part of the mechanism, and the jockey wheel is just sitting there because I have the cage here still. And we're going to take our second jockey wheel here and make sure you position the cage properly. So I'm going to start by putting a couple of threads in this lower part of the jockey, in the lower part of the mechanism here, just to kind of hold it together. And then I'm going to take this jockey wheel, put it up against the cage. Now I'm going to start threading that one in. Okay, now one thing is make sure you clean the mechanism off. As you can see, these jockey wheels are in there perfectly. They are absolutely working nice. Really smooth looking. And they look kind of cool having the red. Now you're like, well, why did you choose red? Well, if you notice, got a few red things on the bike. My Jameis has, it's gray with black, red, and white highlights. So I've had red and white highlights on the bike anywhere I can, just to kind of offset. Because there's going to be a lot of black with your drivetrain and all that stuff. So I want a few white. Now make sure you don't over torque these. These are titanium bolts, so you don't want to tighten them, over tighten them. Just it won't bind up. It's not going to bind up the bearings because of the way they have the ferrules on here. But you do, if you over tighten the threads on the titanium, you could strip out the threads a little bit easier than you would the steel bolts. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our bag, oops, right here, put our old bolts in there. We're going to take our old jockey wheels, and we are going to wipe them off, just so they aren't trashy. Okay, and one of the things too is these were getting chewed up. They're starting to make some noise, so I was getting kind of annoyed with them. So, and they do, if they don't have bearings, if they have bearings, they tend to make less noise over time. And they won't make weird noises too. Yeah. So this one was a double ferrule one, the one at the top, and it served kind of like a bearing. So you have this, just give you an idea how important it is. They typically use a double ferrule right there, see, and then that portion would spin on itself. So it would work as kind of a bearing even though it wasn't really a bearing. So put all that inside this bag. So I've kept everything that comes off the bike. You want to keep everything in a good container. So that's it for that. Now, I'm going to stop the video here. We're going to clean our bike chain, get our bike chain back on the bike, and I'm going to show you that real quick, how to get your bike chain back on the bike. We're going to get the bike chain on the bike, and then we're going to see how these new jockey wheels work. Okay, we're back, folks. We have ourselves a nice clean chain. So just to go over basically what we did is I took WD-40, sprayed it all over here. I don't want to have to deal with running a video while I was trying to do the cleaning. Soaked it in WD-40. Now, if you're going to use WD-40 on a regular basis to clean your chain, use the same thing to lube the chain. But since we don't do that, I spray this with WD-40, and sometimes I'll spray the WD-40 in a little Tupperware bowl, and then soak the chain for a long period of time if I'm getting rust and stuff. So I'll kind of show you one of those maybe later, but then once I did that, I went over the chain with a rag and I wiped down every single link, and I checked all the links too, because as you can see here, these are your outer links, and then these are the outer links, and then these are inner links. The inner links, if they get any burrs or stuff in it, they can cause the chain to catch onto your cassette, okay, or your cassette, or to your your chain rings, your upper and lower chain rings, okay. So I was getting some noise from my chain rings, so you always want to wipe these down. If you're going to take your chain off, you always want to wipe these guys down. You want to wipe down. Especially these upper ones are a little bit more susceptible to damage than the lower tooth, smaller tooth, or smaller cog, if you want to call them. Okay, so double check your chain rings, but these burrs on your chain can cause chips to come out of your chain ring there. So the next thing we're going to do is, then after we did that, we put our white lightning grease on here, just drizzled it on there, wiped the excess off, and then just went over it again. Just double checked everything again. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this guy back on here. We're going to come through up here. Sorry about this. Hook it on one of the teeth. You can of your chain ring. Darn it. Grab a hold of it like so. Get this over and under, so your chain's hanging there. And then you want to bring the chain back around the rear jockey wheel. There's a little bar here for the outer mech cage, so you want to bring it underneath of that. If you go on the outside of it, what's going to happen is you're going to actually you're going to have noise, and it's going to wear. The first time I went and took the mech apart, I got all that, and I just couldn't figure out what it was, and I saw the chain rivet. You're going to wear down your chain, so you don't want to do that. You don't want to wear the paint off your rear mech. If you got carbon fiber, you definitely won't want to do that. Then bring it around like here. Come around the lower jockey wheel, like so. And then we're going to come back around. And we don't have to remeasure this, obviously, because we already know. And we're going to put link there like so. Link like this on our tool. Okay. Well, once the master link is on there, make sure you don't get your skin in there, by the way. Now, some new chains, when they're new, the master links are really tight. So I use this as a master link removal tool. Got it with a bunch of other tools, so it works pretty nice. Not that you have to have it, but it does work. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to test everything works. Sorry about that. Shift to our middle position. By the way, all your mechs from Sora on up, well, your Sora and Tiagra are going to have what's called a two-part system for the upper chainring. Okay, so it's going to have a master, or it's going to have a jump up here for when you're in your lower, or your upper gears, sorry, and your chainring, or your cassette. And then you pop it once, it jumps down. It's not a yaw control like you have on the 105s, the Ultegras and the Derailleurs, but it does work really well as far as making it so your mechanism isn't noisy. And then keep going up. Now when you get into the uppermost, like right now, you'd actually have noise, a little bit of noise, because you'd be up here and it would click a little bit. So you're not going to go that high on the upper chainring. So we bring it down. Okay. We do our shifting. And obviously, like I said, you can't do that with the dummy hub. You can't go into the lowest gear. It just it rides over too far, and because of the way the dummy hub sits, it'll ride over too far, and you'll get some funky noise from your rear mech. So as you can see, the rear mech is working perfectly. We're going to shift back up into the upper gear, and we're going to leave it right there for now. Okay. Okay. So we're in the lower tooth, and now we're going to take out our dummy hub and we're going to put on our rear wheel. But that is pretty much how you're going to change out your jockey wheels. Pretty simple thing to do. Like I said, you're going to be doing this. I would definitely recommend going and making sure you replace your make sure you clean your chain and service your chain. Like I said, you can use WD-40 for both cleaning and lubrication if you want to do it all the time and do it very quickly. But for longer lasting chains, I recommend using some WD-40 as a degreaser and as a preventative for rust. But make sure you use your whatever your speed lube is that you're going to be using regularly for your chain, whether it's White Lightning's. Park has some great dry lube. A lot of companies out there have great dry lube. So whatever you choose, I recommend the White Lightning because it just works wonders, and it's relatively inexpensive. But lots of company out there, whatever you choose, make sure you use it regularly. So that's it for me today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And as always, keep riding.